Hey, everybody. Yes, we're back. I don't know, it wasn't showing up on YouTube for some reason. It was showing as still, waiting, like it wasn't showing up. Oh, I'm not worried about that. There's some things you just have to consider the source, and not everything needs my attention. Um, all right, let me see here. Let me see if we got this. All right, let's see here. Let me get into the video here. All right, there we go. Hey, hey. Yes, I'm not gonna touch much about, the details as far as go into, like, the autopsy or nothing like that yet, just because it is such a triggering case. More so just over the details. Um, yeah, messy, I'm not worried about that. Like I say, there's always you always have to consider the source with certain things. Ah, shit. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Hey, hey. Yes, True Crime Tuesday. I'm glad you made it securing the bag. So this case, I do want to say that this case, there are some details. Like I said, I don't go into a lot of the details because we are going to continue to cover this case, and there are going to be a lot of updates. Take a while for this to go to court, unless it doesn't go to court. Who knows what's going to happen? But it definitely is a tragic case, and we're just going to go through the details of it and some of the things that have been coming out online, and for people who may not know anything about this case. Um, so I am going to play a video and just, getting familiar with the case and all of the details, and then we'll be able to discuss it after the fact. Please, as always with True Crime Tuesday, no spoilers. If you know about the case, just wait till the end as far as like details, because not everybody is aware of the case. Not everybody has been following it. I am going to leave Facebook up for this and see how that goes. I left Facebook up, I think, last True Crime Tuesday last week. And if you don't know, exactly, OMW, thank you. And if you guys don't know, I do this every week. We come together usually around 9 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday for True Crime Tuesdays, and we do a different case every week. And sometimes we'll do updates from the different cases, that we've covered and stuff like that. If there's updates and things, we do have a couple cases that are ongoing right now. So if as updates come available, I try to let everybody know. But yes, this is definitely, again, I'm not going to cover a lot of the details. They do mention some of the details, but it is triggering because it is a child. And this was a missing persons case, a missing child case up until yesterday when her body was recovered from a house only about 4 miles from where she lived in Toledo, Ohio. I'm just waiting on the video. It's almost done uploading. If you guys didn't know, I was on live earlier and we covered some of the malarkey. Yes. Oh yeah. I have no words for that one, Victor, no words. But if you guys didn't know, we did malarkey earlier today. I did a little bit earlier. As you guys know, my mom is in the hospital. Just had surgery yesterday, and also with work and everything, I figured we'd go ahead and get it going for today. So if you missed that, you can definitely replay that one. Is there still? I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, let me make sure we got this video going. Mm-mm-mm-mm. All right. So, yeah, yes, it's a very case. So I just want everybody to know. All right, let me pull it up. I think it's finished now. Takes a minute because it uploads and then it has to process. But I did work today until around 5 o'clock. We did the malarkey around 7 o'clock. I think I was on for just a little bit over an hour. I was keeping it. My goal was about an hour, so we were about right up about an hour. Come on, what is taking so long? It says still processing, of course. I think it's at like 98% though. All right. So as you guys saw today, I did post one update from the SWAT team there in Columbus. Oh, come on now. So sad for her family, the system, everyone felt her. Yes. The teacher come out. They have hi Tasha. We're just waiting on the video to process here. So the teachers come out. All of that is definitely going to be in the video if it will upload. They do love you, Lita. They love you. Hey, Blicky. Hey, everybody. We're at the mercy of technology. So the lady who she was arrested, she was not arrested. So that is going to be that's going to be in here. Dang, I don't know why it's taking so long. It never takes this long to process. But no, she actually didn't get arrested. She said that she was asking for them to arrest her because there was a mob outside of her home. All right. I think it's still processing, but it'll play. Guys, after this, just let everybody get caught up on this case. Tuesday with your host, me, Feminine and Fierce. This is the tragic case of Keimani Latique, a 13-year-old who was reported missing, and sadly, her body was found yesterday.
Of missing 13-year-old girl in Toledo tonight. Keimani Latique's father, 33-year-old Darnell Jones, is charged with her murder and abduction.
Police have confirmed they pulled her body from an abandoned East Toledo home today. Keimani had not been seen alive for the last 6 days. Her family, friends, and community had been searching for any signs of her.
Additionally, social media videos appearing to show Toledo police taking Keimani's grandmother, Dorothy Latique, from her home in handcuffs today. WTOL 11 has repeatedly asked police why, but we have not yet received a response. A family member did tell us Dorothy was arrested, but she didn't have information on the charges. WTOL 11 has reached out repeatedly to TPD for clarification.
Tonight, police say the search for her body is over, but the search for answers continues.
The story made headlines when Toledo police made this post on social media Tuesday, March 18th, 4:03 p.m. That's when the alert for missing 13-year-old Keimani Latique went out.
I usually get off of work at 9 o'clock. I made it home like 9:40 that morning. Okay. She wasn't here.
WTOL 11 talked with Keimani's grandma the following day. She said she saw something unusual when she came home from work and called TPD.
There were things in the floor that should not have been. That's what caused the alarm. So I called the school to speak with her. I asked them, could I speak with her? And then they did. They contacted the principal, her teacher, and the gym teacher, and all three of those guys said that she was not there.
2 more days passed. Now 72 hours since anyone has last seen Keimani alive. Family, friends, and even strangers came out to search for her.
So let's scour throughout here.
The group spent the weekend alongside Keimani's mother looking for any signs of the 13-year-old girl.
Honestly, this is breaking me. I've been falling the apart since I found out. I've legitimately been on social media since the minute I found out, spreading awareness, sending out flyers, contact information, anything to get my baby home. I have not slept in 3 days. I have not ate in 3 days.
We need all the support we can get from anybody. We don't care who it is. Please just come out and help us find my niece.
The next day, Sunday, March 23rd, a felony abduction charge filed against Darnell Jones. Jones is Keimani's dad, and court records show he was the last person with her before she went missing.
This man has been to my house several times. He usually takes her for weekends to his house to visit with him and his other children. and I feel deceived. Like, you played for so long in my face, like you was her dad, like you really had her best interests at heart. But where is she?
If my baby don't make it home, I will never be okay again. And I hate to say that because I have other kids.
That fear became reality when police pulled a body from a home on Miami Street in East Toledo. A body Keimani's grandmother says is the missing 13-year-old girl. Darnell Jones reportedly told police he saw his daughter late Sunday night. He claims she called and said she was afraid someone was trying to break into her grandmother's home. Jones says he and a cousin allegedly stayed with her for about an hour and left around 12:30 a.m. Police now say he gave inconsistent statements about being with Keimani that night. Once again, he is now charged with murder and abduction.
It was just after 3 o'clock this afternoon when police pulled Keimani's body from a burned home on Miami Street in East Toledo. That house is at 1101, the corner of Miami and Wilmot, almost directly behind the Glass City Riverwall, and less than 4 miles from where Keimani was last seen alive at her home in the 2900 block of Elm Street. The house where she was found in East Toledo was boarded up and had been on fire at least 2 times in the past few years. The most recent, July 14th, 2022, just a few months ago before that, in May of 2022.
The young girl's death has created plenty of reaction today from family members and the surrounding community.
Toledo Mayor Wade Kapsakavage also weighed in on the tragedy tonight. He spoke with Steve Iwanek, who joins us now. Steve, he's wanting justice just like everybody else.
Yeah, that's right, guys. Kapsakavage was visibly frustrated with me, even getting a bit emotional in our conversation earlier today, telling me that what's happened in the last week to Keimani demands accountability and answers.
Baby is in that house, and my baby is deceased. I cannot wait to see it's done.
For days, Tiara Caston, the mother of 13-year-old Keimani Latique, searched and searched, hoping to find her little girl. Caston says she last saw her on March 15th.
We played video games. We played. We talk mess. You know, that's what we do. We roast each other, all types of stuff. But it's all love.
March 18th from the 2900 block of Elm Street in North Toledo, according to Toledo police. Since then, family, friends, and community members spent days looking. But Monday, police say they found a body in this abandoned house in East Toledo. That was around 1:30 in the afternoon. And hours later, the Lucas County coroner confirmed it was indeed Keimani.
Whomever was responsible for this, I hope they throw the book at him. That's just me.
Toledo Mayor Wade Kapsakavage offered his sympathies, calling the events unfair and saying justice needs served.
It's no one deserves what this young girl went through, and if justice is to be served, someone needs to pay.
That someone may be someone inside Keimani's own family, based on Kapsakavage's understanding.
To know that all along there were folks inside that family that looks like knew that this wasn't going to end well is just, I mean, that's more dishonesty, I think, than a lot of people could wrap their brains around.
Outside the East Toledo house, community members showed love to Keimani. A vigil took place, and one woman even left a plot of flowers and a note, telling WTOL 11 she felt the need to honor her memory and to show the city she was loved.
So my first question for you, yesterday lots of things was going on. We want to know specifically at your home, there was a lot of speculation online that you were being arrested, but when we checked with police, that was not the case. So can you further clarify on exactly what did happen yesterday at your home?
So as you heard, the news channel said that they could with police that she was not in fact arrested. And she explains why she did that.
Well, I was called and told that there was a mob of people in front of my house. They were angry. It was more or less the people that were here earlier.
Oh, bitch! That's what you get, bitch! Yes! You lucky, go to jail,
Look,
bitch! That's what you did, bitch! That's right!
Dang.
That's right! That's right!
That's the grandmother.
You know what you did knew it. It's exactly what the fuck she should have been in jail.
This is
That
when
bitch
she
should have
allegedly
been
got
in jail
arrested.
a long fucking time ago.
You're good, baby J.
Get that nigga. Get her.
Wow.
Get her. That bitch. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Yeah, grandma's arrested. That's the grandma being arrested. This is from my live yesterday.
Y'all, I've been around, and this bitch.
That's the cousin.
Oh, my mama. Take that bitch to jail. Get that bitch out of here.
That's family all.
Get her out of here. Dude,
They were on the grandma. That's family too, Roger. I just dropped it again.
Bitch. Yes. You lucky. Go to jail, bitch. You know what you did, bitch.
That was the one that was just on the
That's right.
television.
That's right.
And it's the grandmother.
You know what you did to
See,
her.
she's got the same outfit. Okay, Jeannie.
You got in jail too, bitch. I knew it.
Waiting to see if it was Keimani that was in the home, and basically some people from the neighborhood had contacted me and said that there was a mob in front of my house and they were talking about what they were going to do to me once I came home. So the police, the detective said that she would have a unit come out and help me get my things and more or less escort me off the property. I asked to be handcuffed just so they can get the away from my property.
Are you scared?
So no, I was never arrested. I was taken downtown, but I was never arrested.
Are you scared for your safety right now?
I am.
What are some of the things that you've been hearing and receiving from people?
They said they was going to blow up my house. They said they was going to do harm to me. It's just been a barrage of different things that they've been stating.
And now, yesterday, or let's backtrack first
The
for a little
father.
bit. So
Okay, hold on.
you are the guardian.
So the grandmother is saying that she never got arrested, that they were going to escort off her property because of the mob. So she had the cops act like they arrested her so that people would think she was in jail and not at her home, so that the mob would leave and think that there was justice served. Part of the mob was her cousins, which we'll get into what the cousin had to say also, because the cousin has been very vocal on social media as well, which is at the end of this video. But no, so the dad allegedly is who did it, but the grandmother had the cops make it seem like instead of just escorting her down to the station for questioning, she made them allegedly act like they were arresting her. I mean, she was on the ground, which is crazy to me that they even went along with that shit.
Of Keimani, or you were the guardian of Keimani, correct?
I am the legal guardian of
She's not accused
Keimani.
of anything.
Okay. So, in terms of taking care of her, when was Keimani placed under your care?
A year ago.
So you take care of her.
She's been in my home for the past 5.5 years, but I just obtained legal custody of her a year ago.
Were you and Keimani close?
We were.
What were some of the things, trying to think of her and paint a memory of her in a good light, right now with everything that's going on, what was Keimani like? Tell me a little bit about how Keimani was in the time that you've got to know her.
Keimani was phenomenal. Keimani was a helper. Like, she was older than what.
The grandmother didn't do anything allegedly. It was a setup. She didn't get arrested. She made them fake arrest her so that the mob would think she was arrested, but she never got arrested. Does that make sense? They just took her down to the station because there was a mob outside of her house. So they made it look like they were coming there to escort her because of the mob. And then she made them act like they arrested her. So she did not get charged with anything. As of now, the grandmother has not been charged with anything. The only person that's been charged is the father, alleged father. But she talks about all of that right now. She talks about how she got custody of her, who had custody of her, all of those details. And the aunt also gets interviewed. So yeah, they did it to protect her allegedly. But, they had her on the ground, like arresting her. I mean, it looked like they were arresting her. But even the news channel said, we have confirmed with police that she was not arrested. She was not charged of anything.
She appeared to be like, how they say somebody has an old soul. She was that. She loved older music. She loved playing video games. She loved the friends and family that she was allowed to be around. She played basketball for Spring Elementary. She was highly intelligent. So I'd like to clear up the mental issue statements. No, she was not mentally ill in any way. We had her,
Latoya, I've already looked it up. I've looked up all of this stuff. I did a deep dive today.
Assessed, and they didn't feel as if they were mentally. So that was not a issue. But back to Keimani, she would, like, say for instance, someone would come over and they had children. They didn't have to worry about their kids because Keimani immediately embraced them and would play with them. Kid stuff. She was phenomenal. Like I said, she was like no other kid her age.
What school did Keimani go to?
She went to Spring Elementary.
And we were told that at that time she was doing good in school as well too, correct?
She was. She had brought her grade point average up from a 3.4 to a 3.9.
We talk about it, Messi.
And actually they were going to have an award ceremony for the basketball players today at 5:30, but when I divulged to them that she had passed, they've rescheduled it. She was going to receive her trophy for being, on the team and stuff.
And she has a birthday that's coming up.
Her birthday is Friday.
And she would have been turning 14.
She would have been 14.
Did you have any plans for her birthday?
We were going to have her a large birthday party because it would have been her first birthday where, once again, all of my children were together and could participate in the party. Her mom was supposed to come and everything. So I asked her early on, what type of party do you want? She said she wanted a basketball themed party. So that's what I bought. Things that revolved around her playing basketball. I'm still receiving stuff in the mail for that.
So there's been some confusion now in terms of when it comes to family, who's her biological father, who is her biological mother, and then also was she in the foster care system. Can you clear up a little bit of all of that? When Keimani was placed in your care, when is the LCCS, who exactly did she come from and how did she?
She came from her other legal guardian. I choose not to state her name, but she came from her other legal guardian because the other legal guardian and I were best friends. The other legal guardian is my daughter, Keimani's mom, godmother. And we had already discussed early on, because she's been with this person since she was 9 months old. My daughter has never really had custody of Keimani. So she's been with this person since she was 9 months old until, like I said, maybe 5.5 years ago. Now, off and on, this person, we would interact and, do different things with her, for her, or I would contact her and tell her, well, I need this, or Keimani would like that. And she would come by and oblige, and we would commence. It's just too much.
Earlier you mentioned when you were talking about what Keimani was like, you had mentioned that when family members did come over, who were allowed around her. Can you expand on that? Is there family members that weren't allowed around her?
No, it's just not very many that came around, and those that did, she acted, as far as I'm concerned, she acted accordingly. She embraced all children, bad or good. Okay, next question.
So now
right there. So she had said that Keimani was around family that she was allowed to be around. And I caught that, and I'm so glad that the news reporter caught that, because she circled back and she was like, wait, you said she was around family she was allowed to be around. And the grandmother mentions children. Of all things for the grandmother to mention when she says, what do you mean by the family she was allowed to be around? And her grandmother mentions the fact that she was that she loved children, all children, good or bad. I feel like that is going to be a huge clue in things that come out about this family later on. Because she even says, next question. Let me let you hear what she said again. She asked her, what do you mean by allowed family members?
Children, though
Allowed around her, did come over who were allowed around her. Can you expand on that? Is there family members that weren't allowed around her?
no, it's just not very many that came around, and those that did, you know, she acted, far as I'm concerned, she acted accordingly. She embraced all children, bad or good. Okay, next question.
So now we do know that Darnell, you know, people are looking for Darnell Jones right now. The police are looking for Darnell Jones, and there's an arrest warrant out for him. Do you have any idea of his whereabouts?
Oh, well, to my knowledge, he was just arrested in Columbus. He just recently had a shootout with the police in Columbus. They're saying that he confessed to her murder, and no, I take that back. They're saying that he confessed to her rape and slitting her throat.
How does it feel to learn that?
I can't even say.
You know, as the police report mentions, Keimani was last seen with Darnell. You know, do you have any regrets of letting Keimani go with, as you're her guardian, do you have any regrets of letting Keimani go with Darnell?
I do, only because, like I said, I feel deceived. I feel like this was pre-planned. I feel like you meant to do this. I feel like you was grooming her.
When you say grooming her, is there things that you saw before this leading
No,
up?
I never saw anything out the ordinary.
Thank you, Mary.
But when molesters decide to choose prey, they groom you first. So they give you gifts. They try and make you comfortable with them. They try and say little things to you that you and they can keep secret, and then eventually they pounce. And that's how I feel that how all of this is played out, I feel that's what happened. She was a virgin. She didn't like boys.
There's also comments, and we're just trying to address those and get those addressed. But there's comments online and speculation again that, you know, Keimani, her home situation, she was abused. What do you have to say to that?
Okay, abuse in whose eyes? Because she was not abused. Yes, she was chastised whenever she was wrong or did things wrong. Other than that, she was not abused. She was not just whooped for no reason or just because I felt like it. I've went through this twice because the school system had contacted CSP, CSB on her behalf when she went to Bennett Academy. And they came in, they did a case study and closed it. They've stated there's a way to chastise children without physically harming them, and you need to whoop them on their behind, nowhere else. So, okay, with that in mind, I knew that. So she didn't have like bruises all over.
How long ago was that when they came into your home?
I would say the latest, it was approximately 7 months ago.
And so you say the latest. So was it a few times that they came into your home?
It was twice total.
So twice total that they came into your home. Check, okay. And it was all for like you mentioned, what you just said earlier, explaining. Okay.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the teacher calls GPS multiple times.
In terms of this whole situation, so you were not arrested, correct? And that's what, you know, a lot of people seem to think as they saw you going out and cuss. That's what you asked for, correct?
Yes.
Right. Okay, so my first question for you, can you tell me your relation to Dorothy?
I'm Dorothy's second oldest daughter. I'm Keimani's aunt. My name is Sanika. I live in Indianapolis. All this that is going on is devastating. You wouldn't think that, you see it happen around the world, but when it hits close to your heart, you really just be thinking like, did I do something wrong? Did I fail her? She didn't have the life to live that we have got to grow and live. She was only 13. So to know that somebody that I trusted, which was her father, to come through and deceive us just to get to Keimani in some sexual way or a harmful way, that hurts me to the full extent, the point I feel like I failed her. Me as being her aunt, a person that she could run to and tell anything and everything. That was my girl, that was my baby. And to hear all of this, to know all of this, and to be going through all this and hearing it for as long as that it went on, it's very devastating. I see so many people that are supposed to be my family that's going against my mom and me for that instance, and saying like, oh, she failed her, she had something to do with it, she had this and that. It doesn't matter at this point. For right now, and until we get justice for Keimani, it's all about Keimani. What I would like to say is there's a lot of people on the internet starting GoFundMes, and that's not what we need right now, because it's not what Keimani needs. The funeral home has objected to say that they're going to come and pay for everything, so there's no need for any GoFundMe pages, any of that. Everything is being taken care of that needs to be taken care of by her family, her immediate family.
Does it upset you that there are GoFundMes? Some of them, I think, in cases might be scams too as well that are going on.
What upsets me is that people are starting these GoFundMe pages and putting Keimani name underneath it, and they know that it's going to get viewed, and people have sympathy and feel some type of way about that. And some of them can be scams, but I know some of them have come from family members. When just let the immediate family handle that. Like, what y'all gonna do with the money if y'all not turning into the funeral home? There's no need. Let us handle it. Y'all just sit back and give us the emotional support that we need. That's what we need right now. As a family, as a community, we should all come together and just give each other the emotional support that we honestly need. And that's just what I ask for everybody to, calm down, breathe. I know this is a hard time, because it's not just a hard time for y'all. This is a rough time for me. I just need y'all to come together and understand that we need each other as a community, as a family, and emotional support is what we need the most in this situation.
Yesterday the crowd was, if you were here, I'm assuming, the crowd was very upset, lots of emotions going through too, especially at this time with such a sensitive situation. We've heard multiple comments out in the crowd, attacking or pointing fingers at your mom. So, what has it been like trying to be her support system and helping her out?
In a way, you have to be mature enough to decide, am I going to follow along with the crowd, or am I going to, stick around with the loner? I'm to the point where I'm not following nobody. I'm going with what's right. If it was your mother, if it was your niece, would you console your mother? Would you console the person that was closest to her, who lived with her? I'm not out to have a torch and the pitchforks and all out to go against anybody except the person who did this, which I believe was her father, Darnell. I don't have any other anger pushed towards anybody else. I'm angry that this happened, but I'm angry at the person who did this.
Do you know if, have you been in contact with Tiara, the mother?
Yeah, I've been in contact with my sister. It's been briefly. It's been over through text. Like I said, I live in Indianapolis. I seen her yesterday, but that was very brief. It wasn't even more than 5 minutes. It was more or less that she wanted to show me my other niece, Kazaria, which is Keimani's youngest sister. But it wasn't like it was oh, sis, what are we gonna do, any of that. And I don't wish this on nobody. I really don't. I could, your mind go different places when it's a baby. That was a baby. Like I said, I have a very close relationship with Keimani. She was a tomboy. She wasn't out looking for, trying to be fast or, mischievous or any of that. So for her mother to come down and have all this to say and all that. Tier, where was you for the past 4 years? We haven't seen you since Keimani TikTok party. You haven't called her. You haven't sent her anything. You haven't said, oh, baby, I'm going to come get you for a weekend. We haven't seen you until this happened. Why we got to see you when it's a tragic moment? So, Tier, where do you stand?
And Tiara lives in Cleveland, correct?
Yes.
And so the past 4 years, you're saying there was very little communication.
Very, very minimum. It wasn't even,
Right.
she'll call my mom. She'll go through me and say, have you talked to mommy? And I'm like, no, about what? And she'll say, oh, well, she got custody of Keimani and she trying to get child support from me. So it wasn't that Tiara was concerned about Keimani. It was more of the why she want child support from me.
What is the relationship between your mother and your sister?
Have you noticed that everything this aunt has talked about has been about money? She is more upset. You can tell what's on the forefront of her brain is the fact that people are setting up GoFundMe's and maybe getting money. Like, that is what you choose to speak about? And then, it's about almost everything she said has been about money.
It's very distant. They had their words. They fought. Keimani mother has a godmother that Keimani was with before my mom got her, and there was no communication then from Tiara. I feel like Tiara just let her go, because any mother would be on her toes to get her children back. That wasn't the case here. It just wasn't.
When was Keimani?
Keimani lived with the grandmother that was just speaking just a minute ago, and she is who allegedly let her go with this father. Now, they talk about, like, is he the father? Isn't he the father? Because of things that they've said, but allegedly, yes, he is the biological father. The grandmother is the mother of Keimani's mother. So that is not her son. That it would have been like her daughter's boyfriend. I don't think they were ever married.
When was Keimani taken away from Tiara?
I'll say about 7-8 months, and then Tiara godmother stepped in and got custody of Keimani, which would have been around 9 months. And Keimani had been with that lady from 9 months all the way up until about, I say, 5.5 years ago. So it wasn't like Tiara was actually in the picture, saying, hey, maybe I can start getting myself together to get my child back so nobody else can get her.
Have you ever worried for Keimani's safety with any of the family members or anyone?
I wouldn't say I was worried, because I was here. I was here every winter break, spring break, holidays, birthdays. I was here for Keimani. Yes, you come and you enjoy time with your family, but I was here for my niece. I also brought my youngest sister and her 2 kids from Indianapolis to be here for Keimani, because we've been in the system before. So I know how it feels to feel like, dang, I'm at somebody's house, or not feeling not wanted. I know those feelings. So I tried to give Keimani that at all times, because she wanted and loved by her aunts. And this is just devastating that I have to go through this for the rest of my life, and knowing I'll never have the embrace of my niece, the, hey, TT, what you doing? When you coming down here, I'll never get to hear that from my baby again. And that's what kills me the most. I just wish that when I was down here last, that I had just taken her to Indianapolis with me, so this would never happen. A lot of things, woulda, coulda, shoulda, but at the end of the day, I just really wish that whatever happened and whoever did this, y'all didn't have to do that to her. There's plenty of people out here with, grown people that put themselves out there to be, the sex workers or whatever it may be. You didn't have to do this to a child. There was nothing that Keimani would have done to make you hurt her. So she was a very timid kid.
A long time.
Tomboyish, reserved. She wasn't, loud and out there. So
yep. Shenanigans?
It's just devastating that that me and my family have to go through this.
Is there anything else that you would like to add at this time in the interview? Anything else that I didn't
Right. There's so much.
I just want people to understand that family is family, and at the end of the day, don't be so eager to go against your family. Talk to your family and talk to the children. These children may be scared to talk to the parents about things that's going on or what may be going on because they feel like they may get in trouble, but make it known that to your kids that you can talk to me. Make it very open. You can talk to me about any and everything. Because that's what these kids need to hear nowadays. Instead of going on social media and talking to somebody over social media about it, like he did this or she may done that. Talk to your family because they can handle. They're the adults that's supposed to handle it.
In other words, don't tell anybody when abuse is happening, is what she basically just said. Don't tell anybody on social media what's going on. Tell your family. It sounds like their family's been hiding some shit for a while. Just my opinion.
So yeah, and it's forever Keimani.
And to be clear, right now, Darnell Jones has been charged with murder, abduction, and felonious assault. There have been no criminal charges filed regarding any sexual crimes at this point. We also just got information about Keimani's cause of death. The Lucas County coroner says she died from multiple incised wounds of the neck. She was pronounced dead shortly after noon yesterday.
Just trying to not get hit in the head with the tape.
It's all right.
So put it under my bed.
This was this morning.
Yeah.
Sorry, it takes me a jack. Yeah. We good, Chris?
We just get to do this.
Oh, no, then my card.
There haven't been any sexual crimes charged yet. Bears girl.
Are you guys ready?
It was Taylor. This is the different one. There's two.
Hello.
Hey, I'm going to call
There's
you
two,
back in like 5 minutes. Not even 5 minutes. Okay, just park at 3rd and Star.
Yeah, Bears girl.
Or 3rd and Denison, whichever. Yeah, 3rd and Denison.
I think so too, Victor.
You good? Getting there. Okay. President Steele.
That's what they're saying, yo.
Are we waiting for him?
But I think a lot of things are going to come out.
I'm ready.
I think more
ready?
stuff's
All
going
right.
to
Can
come
you tell
out.
us what happened?
Yeah, so obviously, just like any other officer-involved shooting, this is preliminary investigation, preliminary information. Things are fluid, they can change, but as of right now, I want to discuss the things that I can confirm that happened.
Right, Tika.
So earlier this morning, one of our SWAT teams was working a dangerous individual who was wanted for a serious crime, and SWAT was given information that this gentleman was in this particular area. When SWAT arrived, they did make contact with the suspect in question that they were looking for, confirming the identity of, in fact, that suspect being the person that they were watching. At some point during the interaction with SWAT officers, I can confirm that an officer did discharge their firearm, striking the suspect. The suspect was transported to a local hospital. That suspect is currently in stable condition. Thankfully, no officers were injured. No one in the public was injured, but it's important to know, obviously, given this is an unusual area where we do not see a lot of crime, we just want to reassure the public that this is a safe, contained situation and there's no longer a threat to the public.
Were any guns recovered off of the suspect?
I can confirm that there was a firearm recovered from the scene that obviously was not the police firearm. So, like I said, it's still early. We're working through that, but I can confirm we did recover a firearm.
With the suspect out in Toledo?
So we're not going to get into the specifics of what he was wanted for and where he came from. I can just say at this moment it was a very serious crime that he was wanted for, and this was something that we had to take very serious in terms of this suspect's actions and what we believe he may have done to the point where we are following him to apprehend.
Did this suspect fire at other officers?
So I can confirm that yes, at least one SWAT officer did discharge their firearm, striking the suspect. Beyond that, I can't get into the specifics since we're still in the initial stages.
Can't say an exchange of gunfire between the suspect?
Unclear at this point if there was an actual exchange of gunfire.
Chief Bryant was here, Assistant Chief Potts, a lot of
He did have a weapon,
in
though.
CPD. That doesn't always happen. Can you say why they were here?
Well, quite simply, it's daytime. You know, this is operational hours for all of important bosses. Not that
He was
any
more
other
upset
officer
than the
involved shooting,
family.
whether it's 2 in the afternoon or 2 in the morning, is not important. Just the simple fact that it happened during business hours in the middle of the week is highly unusual. So they wanted to come and make sure that the officers were okay and everybody involved was okay.
Do we know what the suspect was doing in this area?
We don't know that, and that is one of the things that investigators are actively trying to determine right now, because we don't believe there's any reason for him to be in this specific area in terms of knowing someone or trying to engage in any additional criminal activity.
Was the suspect pulled over in a car? We saw a car that was being looked at. Was he in a home? Where was he?
There was a vehicle involved, and this interaction, I can say, happened outside. Beyond that, we can't get into the specifics just yet until we continue the investigation.
You said at least one SWAT officer fired. Do you know how many at this point in time?
At this point, we believe it was only one SWAT officer that discharged a firearm, but again, it's early, and until BCI gets here to go a little bit deeper, we can't get too further into the investigation.
So you're saying he's unstable, so you believe these are not life-threatening injuries to the
Correct.
suspect?
We do believe that he will survive his injury.
When I heard about this case, this was an individual wanted for homicide out of Toledo. I called my union counterpart in Toledo. I said, hey, good news, we have your guy. Your guy committed a murder, chose to fled to our town. I'll tell you right now, the wrong town to come to if you murder somebody. Our SWAT team will go out looking for you. This case is one of the most horrific cases I ever heard. This is a 14-year-old that was murdered, raped, had her hands cut off, and her throat almost cut off. This is an absolute animal that came into our town. I understand some of your editors won't let you print the word animal or view the word animal. If people are more offended to how I'm describing him, how he treated that girl, that's on them, not on me. Again, I'm glad our officers are okay. Our SWAT are the best of the best. We send a message. You murder somebody, do not come to this town.
All right, so these were text messages, right? All right, let me see here. These were text messages that a cousin put out. All right, and you can see what she said. This was allegedly a cousin. Oh, it's hard to read. Okay, well, I'll read them to you guys. Let me read them because this was put out. Allegedly, the cousin is saying that the grandmother faked a ransom for this little girl. And that's why I say I think a lot of things are going to be coming out about this case. I think that there is going to be a lot. I do hope that it does go to trial just because I want to be able to see the court documents and see all of the things that happened. Because I do feel that the family is more involved than they're letting on to be. Yes, Columbus, Ohio is who got him. Columbus, Ohio SWAT. So thank you to those officers and that SWAT team who took him down. And he is in stable condition, which means he will likely face his justice. People can feel how they want and feel like he should have been taken out today or today. But for me, I want him to face that. But that's my opinion. Okay, so the cousin says, because it's hard to read, the cousin says, make this all make sense. This B texting herself, bro. This B knows something, and I've been saying this since day one. Mind y'all, that's her number at the top of the text thread. I've sent these to the detectives. This B trying to hide something. I don't know what, but we got to find Keimani ASAP. Hashtag find Keimani. Now, this was released 4 days ago prior to her being found clearly. But the text messages read, I wish you could see him in this video. Let's see. Okay, so the text messages read, I'm here. Now, this is allegedly, the grandmother is alleging, and I say allegedly because this is the cousin that's putting it out. She says she's Keimani's cousin. She was allegedly one of them that was at the house when she got arrested, and that was in the video that I showed you guys, the live stream that is currently, I don't know that if it got taken down on all platforms or what, but I know it was hard to find for sure. After yesterday. But she says, so this is allegedly what she says or said to these people is people trying to get a ransom. So these read as followed. I'm here. This is about business. If you respect my amount, I will return it to you right now. And then they said, what? And it's only obviously a one-sided conversation. And you can see they say, what? So obviously there was some kind of conversation on the other side, which is why, they're going to take her devices and all that, I'm sure. It says, that's right here. I'm asking for the amount of $4,000. That's the business you can have with me. So tell me if you're interested in reaching an agreement with me, or I will take it to the border. Send me a picture of her unarmed. You have my amount so we can fix it. You have my amount so we can fix it. How do we know you have her? Send us a picture of her unarmed. Oh, okay. So this is her talking to them? I don't know. It's confusing because where's the other half of the conversation? That she said, how do we know you have her? Send us a picture of her unarmed and we can discuss the $4,000. And then it's question mark, question mark. And then it says, so I guess she's just talking to herself. They're saying she's talking to herself in one thread. I don't know. But the cousin put this out there. And it says, Keimani is fine. Okay. Give me your location. I need to talk to her, please. Who is in charge of the situation to agree and meet in public? And it's back and forth, but it's the same one-sided thread. And it's like, can you meet me at McDonald's on Cherry Street? How long does it take to get there? You have my word. If you meet me at McDonald's on Cherry, then I won't contact the police. I'm just passing through. And then it goes to this and it has like the phone numbers. The cousin also said, these bees seem playing in our face all this time, but I'm out. This shit feel like I'm in a effing movie. And then she says, this bee really pulled a gun out on me and cocked it. And then this was in a group it was for missing people discussion. And the woman had posted and said, I'm Keimani's auntie. And the cousin posted under it and said, this is Dorothy Latigue's friend. She is not to be trusted either. Trust nobody that's Team Dorothy. And then somebody wrote back and was like, blood is thicker than water. So there's a lot of stuff going on with this family, as you can see. And then you can see this says people were speaking on CPS. Let me see, because it's harder to read here. There's a lot of people that allegedly went to CPS. So it says people were speaking up. CPS didn't take none of it serious. Her school as well as family made multiple calls. So please stop speaking on what y'all don't know. So that was just one person that was saying that. And then this cousin says, WTOL 11, you're releasing information that was not told to us family. Who do we get in touch with to discuss this matter? Because now we have an issue. We're being told she's still in autopsy, body won't be released. So what the fuck are you saying stuff in that article and not talking to any of the family? Did you see the post? We are all angry about this information we were not informed about. So there's a lot of drama surrounding this case already. And it seems like it's only going to get worse. You see here, the cousin also said a child molester would know about growing a child. I swear to God, this world is so effing sick. So clearly, the alleged cousin, is basically calling the grandmother a child Chester. So I do feel like, and her background. So there's been a deep dive, obviously, in her background, and it looks like I did not see anything that anybody had found anything about her being, registered or anything like that. I don't know. Of course, there's stuff in the family, and the way her aunt talked about, don't tell people on social media, because allegedly this little girl had reached out and tried to tell people and try to talk to teachers and try to talk to friends and try to talk to people on social media, and multiple CPS cases were filed. I mean, multiple CPS complaints were filed. Multiple things were done, and this child was failed at every single avenue. She reached out to the school. She reached out to friends' parents. She reached out to friends. She reached out to family. She reached out to everybody. She put her hand out to everybody in her circle, and no one helped her. The system didn't help her. The school couldn't help her. The family couldn't help her. No one helped her. And then the tragedy of how she was, And if it comes out that this wasn't even her father, like my thing is what if this man knew he wasn't her father, but he played the father role and said, "Oh yeah, I'm her," like the mother probably, maybe there was a toss up on whose kid it was, and he's like, "Hell yeah, I'll play the father role because I get unlimited access to her." And he's clearly a friggin' animal, like the cop said. So maybe he said, I don't really care about the kid, but I'll say, I'll play that father role because I'll get to do what I want, because clearly the family does the same thing. I just, all right. So, and then it says, and then she said, this is again the cousin. Let me find it so I can read it to you guys. I just get this whole case is just like, what the, it's terrible. She said, after seeing my baby cousin like that, my heart is crushed. I'll never be the same. This shit's not cool. And you MF keep overlooking the main MF I keep saying. Not in the clear. I don't give a F what nobody's daughter or none of that talking about, because I've been standing 10 toes and going to remain. I don't care about no post or no news interview. We just talked to that man. He said none of that. But what I do know is we are the only ones and the last to view Keimani's body. But anyone following me, disregard any false post about anything I said or what I am doing. I ain't seen a granny or auntie do shit, but talk shit. So there's definitely stuff in that family, I think, that's going to come to light. There is Keimani. She was a 7th grader. Her school is obviously grieving her. This is a board from, I wish you'd see it better. I think it's still processing for some reason, so it looks odd, but I will put this out after it's done processing. I'll make it public. But her school is grieving her. You can see this is her school. That was a board from her classroom. That's her desk. It says Keimani there. She did play basketball. Her birthday, she was getting ready to turn 14. This was someone that was at the vigil that they had for her, and she said, just left from dropping baby girl off some balloons, a teddy bear, and some candles. But what seems to me is the grandmother is here, and she said that she's not going to be at the house of day. She will be at some funeral home on Tremansville. This is so messed up. You don't know what to believe. If it was my child and my grandchild, I'd be laid out on the floor. You have to pick me up. I wouldn't be able to be saying, or for her to be as calm and collective as she is, brings tears to my eyes. I don't even know. Continue to rest, baby girl. No one can harm you. Now God have you. So that was someone that attended, and she posted these pictures. This was the house that she was found in. And again, you saw in that that it had been in at least 2 fires in 2022. Was just a condemned house. This says Ball in Heaven, and they all signed it. These are some pictures of her that her cousin had posted. It's just such a tragic story. Also, the teacher has come out. That's when the cops were talking to the grandmother. The teachers, one of the teachers has also came out and said that she begged, and basically, this is her right here. She shared the news article, and this is what she said. Let me see. All right, this is what she says. She says, I am not okay. I tried so effing hard to get her removed from this environment. Sweet baby, my heart is broken. The system is broken. I am sick, but mostly just sad. I enjoyed being able to teach her, give her a hug every single morning she came into school, because that was all she ever wanted. Her friends tried. I tried. The school staff tried. No one listened. They wouldn't allow her to have a voice, and now she's gone. Thank you, Lucas County Children's Services, for your lack of fucking care for these children. Now, this is a teacher that wrote this on her public. She wrote this on her Facebook publicly. Like I said, this baby girl reached out to everyone. She tried everything she could to get out of this situation. And the teacher also wrote on another post right here. Again, I'll put this video. It's just processing, so it's blurry, but it says, I was her teacher. She told us she didn't feel safe. She told us she was terrified to go home. We all saw the marks, bruises, injuries. I made multiple reports to CPS trying to get her the help she desperately needed to keep her safe. All of our voices were left unheard. CPS should be held accountable. We told them over and over. That is from a teacher. She is coming out publicly and saying, I reported it multiple times. Her friends reported it. Her friends' parents reported it. The school staff reported it. She had visible bruises, visible marks. And how that just gets left, just, oh, well, okay. Okay. And now I hope they all get charged. And I hope they all see justice. Because if you're overwhelmed with your job and you're overwhelmed with your caseload and you're overwhelmed to the point that you cannot do your job, then you need to step away. You need to say, hey, this is going against my license. This is going against whatever, I can't do this. I don't have enough, whatever it is. Literal chills, right, Barbie? Chills when I read that. She tried. Like, it makes me tear up. They all tried. It's not like this went under the radar and nobody knows what happened. And it's just, oh my God, such a surprise. No. That's why they don't have any emotion, in my opinion. And everybody grieves different. So I'm not trying to take that away. All I'm saying is CPS had been there twice. The teacher had made multiple complaints. Everybody had made multiple complaints. Lita, but that's the sad part is they didn't turn a blind eye. You mean the CPS worker? Yeah. I mean, but everybody else tried. Like, what? Guess CPS learned nothing from poor little Gabriel Hernandez. Exactly. Why? Because she was a teenager? Because she was 13, getting ready to be 14? Because she was a little bit older? No. And just like you could hear the grandmother in that, that's why I wanted to talk about this too, because you could hear the grandmother in that interview talk about how CPS and how she had to learn how to discipline and that you can only, hit him on the butt and she didn't have bruises. Clearly she did. Clearly that's why they were called. Clearly that's why they had to instruct you on how to discipline correctly. So little things are coming out. Also, I heard, so we know that the grandmother, when she came in, she said that she saw the pajamas on the floor. She saw her underwear, her, what she said, cell phone, keys, and all that stuff was still at the house. She saw all this stuff. She called the school. Not only that, but whenever she allegedly called the news media also. Before calling, I saw one article that was saying that she called the news media also, which we know she called the school first. It's like, what in the, like, she knew, it was almost like she knew, like, oh shit, I'm going to get in trouble for this shit. They are to listen to mandated. That's another thing. They're supposed to listen to mandated reporters. You have a teacher that literally is coming out publicly. That's a huge thing because she can get backlash. I mean, obviously, most of the community is going to support the teacher, clearly, especially after this. But in normal circumstances, there's a lot of people that would have backlash, like teachers don't get, you're not supposed to get involved, things like that. And she's coming out publicly, like, I don't give a shit what anybody says. Yes, I called multiple times and nothing was done. And I hope that her coming out, and that's why I say I hope this goes to trial, and I hope that they do something to, find out what happened, who failed, who dropped the damn ball, because I feel like it was multiple people. Clearly, it just infuriates me. It just infuriates me. The teacher has put her job on the line. That's what, yes. I mean, it's not likely that a teacher would jump out there, not only share the article and call out CPS, but then comment on articles also and say, listen, this is what the hell happened. So yeah. So in my opinion, that puts a lot of weight to what she's saying. Because you can look at her, you can look at the account she's got. I mean, you can clearly tell she's a teacher. And the students are, commenting on stuff. The students are talking about that their parents have called. I mean, just it's a community, that tried to help this girl, and it's sad that it didn't, that nothing was done. You know, mm, mm, mm. It's just awful. Most of them dropped the ball. Yes, and that's why I say this case is going to be, um definitely going to be something that is going to evolve over time. Like I said, the last thing I heard, the Daryl Jones, the alleged bio father of Keimani, is in stable condition. He is in the hospital. He did get wounded. They did find a weapon of his, a pew pew of his was at the scene allegedly. And he was in a car when they caught him. They don't know why he was in Columbus, if he was just running and just that's the direction he went, or if he had people in Columbus, or what was in Columbus. I'm sure they'll figure that out. And I'm sure with looking at devices and things like that, I hope that they will uncover, were they talking inappropriately? Was like, did the grandparent know? Which clearly, I feel like even if she didn't know about maybe a sexual relationship, the thing that if you picked up on the grandmother, did you notice that the grandmother had just found out that her granddaughter had passed away, a granddaughter that was in her custody, that was living with her. Um, it was allegedly her daughter's daughter. And she she tells the news station she's a virgin. What? The fact that you mentioned that, like, you're talking about this young girl who's 13, just about to turn 14. The fact that you had to say that, the fact that you would even think of that in describing her, makes me it just eats away at my soul. Because what grandmother, in my opinion, what grandmother, when you're describing your granddaughter that's 13, almost 14, would you even think about her sexuality? Or whether, I mean, first they're basically describing her as a lesbian. She doesn't like boys. Then you're telling the whole world she's a virgin. She's laying in the funeral home, and you're talking about her sexuality and whether she's a virgin or not, and she's 13. Think about that. Oh, Paige, I would not doubt it. I've heard lots about it since looking through this case. I've heard a lot of things. But I mean, who even thinks that of who even thinks about a 13, 14-year-old in that manner? Uh, Why that? I mean, playing basketball, and the way, just the whole question about when she said she was around family she was allowed to be around. And then when she's asked about that, when the news reporter circles back and asks her again about that, she talks about children, and she loved children, whether good or bad. Huh? The fuck are you talking about? I have 16 grandkids and I would never. Right. Like, what the virgin comment made me think, well, most 13-year-olds are. So what the fuck do you know? That's what I'm saying, Hood Billy. In what universe do you think? I mean, like, that's what you do. That's what you're describing her as? Oh, well, she liked basketball and she didn't like boys and she was a virgin. She's 13. I mean, something is off with the grandmother story. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, there were so many things just in that interview. And that interview, I think, will come back to bite her in the ass. And I'm glad for it. I'm glad that it's out there. And the whole faking her arrest, when did they start that? So you mean to tell me the cops are in on faking her arrest? They had her on the ground. She says that the cops wanted to escort her to the station because there was a mob outside of her house, and that she told the cops that, oh, just arrest me so they'll think I'm going to jail. And the news station allegedly confirmed with the police that there was never an arrest. Now, was she detained and she's just saying it like that? I don't know. But she's basically saying it was a ruse for the people out there to think she was going to be in the jailhouse when she was actually sitting at home. It's weird, right? The poor child, exactly. Exactly. I mean, the whole thing is already. The whole thing is already, and then it makes me wonder, like, okay, so she called when they found her at the house or whatever, the news station was allegedly called before the police. Now, this is all alleged, but if that's true, my thing is, was the grandmother trying to get the scene like compromised or something, get a bunch of news reporters in there instead of the police first, and then your whole crime scene's compromised? I don't know. There's a lot to it. I think a lot more is going to come out. Unfortunately, not all grandmothers are created equal. Not all families are created equal. Not all people are created equal, Keisha. And there are some real monsters out there. And that includes grandmothers, sadly. And it seems like we're having a lot of our youth um, where their whole families are failing them, and these family secrets that they've probably been hiding for generations and generations, these children are starting to speak, and they're starting to reach out for help, probably after generations and generations of this shit being swept under the rug. And these young girls, young boys, whatever the case may be, are starting to tell their teachers. They're starting to tell their friends. They're starting to reach out and say, "Hey, I know this isn't right because social media tells me I can see my other friends and family. I can see this isn't how I'm supposed to live. I know this isn't right." And then they still get failed because it seems like when these girls or when these kids get old enough to speak and feel like they have a voice and they get confident enough and they're about 13 or 14, or they get pregnant because you've been abusing them for years, and they go to speak out, or your little secret is getting ready to get out, then they try to off these little girls, and it's getting ridiculous, and boys. And it's sad. It's sad as hell. Yeah, and Olivia, they're trying to change the cycle, but sadly, it feels like they're getting taken out because of it. Because these families are so used to sweeping it under the rug, just like the aunt said on that friggin' interview. Just like that aunt said on the video, stop telling social media about problems in the family. You need to tell the family. Well, clearly telling the family didn't work. And clearly her telling every damn body at her school, including her friends' moms, her friends' parents, didn't help her either. But the fact that she made that statement and that she was more worried, it seemed like, about a GoFundMe and people getting money off of this than anything else tells me a lot about it. A lot. Damn, I wasn't plugged up this whole time and didn't even think about it. No wonder. The grandmother was trying to make herself look like a heartbroken victim. Exactly. Yeah, overuse of the system. I mean, clearly the system failed her, and it's sad as hell. But I think a lot, like I said, I think so much more is going to come out. There's been this little girl was missing, what, a week? And just since she was found yesterday, there's been, and them talking to the media. I hope they continue to talk to the media, because the more they talk, the more red flags come out. And I hope that the detectives are seeing, which I know they are. But I hope they use, because they can use all of that. The mom too, unfortunately. You told them your mom and she didn't believe you. Yeah, please. I'm definitely keeping track for sure. And I'll do updates as we go, even if I have to do like a special, like a special live just to update on, what's going on once a week or something, because I feel like a lot of it is going to come out. Yeah, a lot of it's about the check. A lot of it's about, services that they get, whether that be food stamps or whatever the case may be. And it's sad. I mean, you heard the aunt talking about child support, they weren't even talking about the baby. They weren't talking about her. They were talking about the GoFundMe and the child support and what? Marcy, from what I was told, they were looking for her, and it was like part of the friends and family, but I don't know for sure. Let me look it up real quick just to see if there's something. Who found Oh, it says the police did find her. Okay. Discovered her inside a home. It says according to the girl's grandmother, the body was found in a home on Miami Street. That's just poor thing. May she rest in peace. And I hope that everybody that failed her and I hope everybody that was involved, I hope they're all brought to justice. And I hope that Darnell starts speaking. I hope he sings like a canary and tells everybody that was involved. He probably won't, but maybe. She was a beautiful little girl, and I hope that she changes things. I hope that maybe this will help. And, as sad and tragic as it is, maybe things will change in that town because clearly the system in that town and a lot of towns is broken. Mm. Did the dad's friend off himself? I have no idea. Was the dad's friend with him or something? I haven't heard anything about that. Let me see. Uh, was he supposed to be with him or something? You're in Cleveland? Yeah. You don't see it happening? Yeah. I mean, that's just so sad. Mm. Yeah, see, I don't see that. Keimani? Was he at the scene or something? Yeah, I don't see that. I just Googled it. Hey, Casey, you're not blocked. I see you. His name is KP or something. Yeah, I didn't see that. Um, so she was allegedly the grandmother, which the grandmother has changed the story. Probably an uncle that did something. It was his cousin. Let's see. Harold. Yeah, I'm sitting there Googling it. He went to the little girl's house with the dad. Huh. KP was the cousin with the dad. His mother's body was found yesterday. She was 70. Hey, Jack. It was the interview with the dad, and it's the interview with the dad and the grandmother. I haven't seen an interview with the dad. Yes, Messy. I know, Cindy. Oh, yes, Angela. It said that the father told police that him and one of his cousins sat with her that night because she was scared. But that was just the story that he gave. I don't think they sat with her. He said that they came over. So allegedly the grandmother says she works and that she doesn't get home until like 9 something in the morning, which she's changed her story too. But she said that when she got home at 9 something in the morning, she found pajamas and underwear and stuff like that, and that Keimani was gone. The father said that she had called him like in the middle of the night and was scared that somebody was trying to break into the house because obviously the grandmother was at work allegedly, and that him and a cousin came over and sat with Keimani, and that they left her at like sometime early in the morning. But clearly that wasn't. I don't think that was true. So I didn't know that he offed himself though. That's crazy. Maybe he was involved in some way. Yeah, like when I Google it or whatever, I can't come up with anything. If you have a link, send it to me. So was the father actually well, yeah, so madams, that's what the grandma well, according to the grandmother, yeah, Sherry. According to the grandmother, she said that she felt deceived because he kept saying like he wanted to be a father in her life and he wanted to be around her. So she was letting him come around and letting him have, weekends or whatever with her. And she says that she felt deceived because he was grooming her. Well, wait. Well, did you see things that it looked like he was grooming her? Did you up on that and you continued to let her see him? Like, what's the real story? Because I definitely think there's a real story out there. It said that KP has offed himself and that he is a known predator. Tanya, the police shot her dad, and he is in stable condition. But they're talking about KP, which is a cousin that was allegedly with him that night because he said they went over there to just to help her to sit with her because she feared for her safety. Right, Lynn? But that's wild. But yeah, there's going to be so much come out about this case, and I think that it's going to be uncovered. I think, of course, CPS files will be on the table for at least. I feel like the judge or somebody. I mean, they'll have to look into that. Considering the teacher has come out and said, "Hey, listen, I went and did multiple reports." She basically is saying, "I begged them to take her out of the environment, and they refused." So, it sounds like the mother had custody for the first like 7 months, and then the godmother of her mom had custody, and then the grandmother got custody, but somewhere in there she was in the system also, it sounds like. So she was just bounced around a lot. And then she, I guess, settled with this grandmother, who she was in the custody of when she went missing. Uh, and she was saying like she let the dad take her, and it's like, well, did you let the dad take her or were you at work and she disappeared? Like, what is it? I'm confused. He got locked up first and told everything. Apparently, Dylan's dad confessed to recent. Ugh, there's so much. Mom lives next door to the house that her body was found in. Oh my goodness. Wait, I think I did see something now that you said that. About the mom's body or whatever. Yeah, I'll definitely look into it. The grandma wanted her for money. She used her for money. I think they all wanted her for money because, like the aunt said, the aunt literally talked about, well, the mom wanted her and this and that and child support. And so she's literally just passed away and you're talking about child support. There's a video of the dad putting her in the house. I have not seen that. And I don't know, Crystal, maybe like people were saying maybe she scratched him. And I don't know if they have found those. Sassy, I will look on the Remind app. I don't see Remind app or on the 2.0. Hold on, let me check. Let's see. I messaged you a video where a woman went live when all of this took place, and you could see a little girl being. Yeah, I can't show that. But I did show the part about them screaming at the mother. I don't know if you're just coming in, but yeah, we watched that. We actually watched that yesterday. We watched it yesterday, but on YouTube, part of their policy is you can't show anything that either depicts a body or is a body. But yeah, we did watch the part yesterday and today. It was part of the video where they were yelling at the grandmother, but the grandmother is saying that that was all set up. And yeah, but definitely check out the replay if you're just coming in. Well, if it would let me see your damn messages. Abandoned house had cameras. I have no idea about the cameras. Remove her hands and feet so she couldn't be identified. And then like maybe true crime, and then maybe just like halfway through, because they said she was pretty much the top was pretty much gone. So that is probably a good theory. Or again, maybe scratches, or he felt like there was going to be some DNA or something. But it's pretty. I don't know if they found the appendages or not. Um, they did. I haven't heard anybody if they've said that. Yeah, there's a different 2K that's on Instagram. I mean, not Instagram, TikTok, but it's spelled different. It's like 2 in the K. But I don't know what y'all are talking about either. This girl was on. Oh yeah. You talking about 2K on TikTok or 2K like on YouTube? Yeah, yeah. There's a guy that has a baby by this girl on TikTok, and his name's 2K. He's got like long blonde hair, but I don't know what Diana said. Oh, it's a different one, Diana. Yeah, there's a 2K on TikTok that's really popular. Um, but he's got a baby with this girl that's on TikTok a lot, and he ended up having getting custody of the baby, and it's like a whole thing. It's like a bunch of drama stuff on TikTok. But it's spelled 2 and then a K. Yes, he has a baby mama Bree. Yes, that's 2K on TikTok. Yep. Because sometimes I'm like, "Wait, what?" Because when people say it on TikTok, I'm like, "Oh, wrong one." I know it is so sad, but yes, I will keep you guys updated on this case as as updates become available. Like I said, even if I have to do like a once a week thing, because I know that just from what they have put out already in the last week, I think there's going to be a lot that has come out, especially if those text messages were actually the grandmother and she was trying to fake a ransom and all of this stuff. I mean, I wonder if there's going to be charges later on when it comes to her. I feel like there may be some charges come later on for maybe more than just the grandmother. Hopefully, if if all of that is true and what the teacher said, and if all of these people did make these multiple reports, I feel like there's going to be a lot of people get charged and a lot of things that are going to come out. So I will keep you updated as this case unfolds because it is definitely a developing story. It is a hard one to get through, and I appreciate everybody that came in and participated in the discussion. And I love you guys. Make sure you do like the video, thumbs up the video. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you next Tuesday for the next episode of True Crime Tuesday with me, Feminine and Fierce. Thank you guys so much for joining. You guys have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.